AITAH, for embarrassing my husband's coworker for embarrassing me and my husband. A few months ago, after years of longing and trying to conceive, my husband 32M and I 33F were finally blessed with a beautiful, healthy baby boy. We were on cloud nine and our hearts swelled with pride and joy. Our family and friends shared in our happiness, and our excitement spilled over into every aspect of our lives. My husband particularly couldn't wait to tell everyone. He's always been the more open one when it comes to sharing our lives, so when our baby boy arrived, he couldn't help but send out an announcement to everyone in his office. A birth announcement that included a cute picture of our son, our little bundle of joy. Life had never felt more perfect. And then, just a few weeks later, something happened that completely shattered that sense of peace. My husband returned to work after paternity leave, and I was at home adjusting to life with our newborn, just trying to enjoy the quiet moments and take everything one step at a time. It wasn't long, though, before my husband came home looking absolutely furious. I'd never seen him so upset. He immediately told me about a conversation he'd had with one of his coworkers. This coworker, a new guy in the office who my husband barely knew, had been making incredibly hurtful and inappropriate comments about our son. Apparently, this guy was going around the office telling anyone who would listen that our baby couldn't possibly be my husband's child. His reasoning: our son was too light and had too much hair, which, according to this guy, made him look more like the baby of a white man or maybe an Asian man. Can you believe that? As if the color of our child's skin or his hair could somehow be used as evidence of infidelity. It was a deep insult to both my husband and me, and frankly, to our entire family. But it didn't stop there. This guy wasn't just gossiping behind our backs. He went on to tell the entire office that my husband had been blinded by his excitement over becoming a father. According to him, my husband was too naive to see the truth, that I had cheated on him with another man. To him, our beautiful baby boy was nothing more than a joke to be passed around in the office like a piece of gossip. He even called my husband a sucker for not realizing what he thought was so obvious. For anyone who doesn't know, let me clarify. It's pretty common knowledge that black babies are often quite pale when they're born. Their skin darkens over the course of weeks, and their hair, which might start out straight, gradually takes on more of a curly or coily texture as they grow. Our son followed this typical pattern. He started off lighter than he is now, and his hair, which was soft and straight at birth, has begun to curl more as he grows. But none of that mattered to this guy, who apparently thought he was some kind of expert on genetics and personal relationships. It was deeply hurtful to my husband, and for me, it felt like an attack on everything I held dear. Our family, our love, our child, none of it mattered to him. What mattered to him was making a joke out of something sacred. Naturally, my husband confronted the guy, and when he did, the coworker denied ever saying anything inappropriate. He claimed that he had only joked about how cute the baby was, but the damage had already been done. Multiple people in the office confirmed that this coworker had, in fact, been spreading these hurtful comments around, even going so far as to try to gain some sort of office clout by pretending he could see things others couldn't. He was quickly moved to a different shift, but that didn't erase the fact that my husband was hurt, and frankly, I was furious. It wasn't just the fact that he had insulted us, but that he had tried to undermine the very foundation of our family. Fast forward to a company event just this past weekend. It was a family gathering, and my husband and I brought our son along, excited to spend time with colleagues in a more relaxed setting. Of course, there he was, the same guy who had caused all the trouble in the first place. He walked right up to us, inserted himself into our conversation, and tried to shake hands with my husband's boss. It didn't take long for me to recognize him. My blood started to boil. I could feel the anger building up inside me, anger that had never truly gone away. That's when I couldn't hold back anymore. I just couldn't let this guy continue acting like nothing had happened. He had hurt us, and I needed to make sure he knew that. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "I don't believe we've met, but aren't you the one who went around telling people in the office that my husband couldn't possibly be our son's father, and that I must have cheated on him with a white or Asian man?" The room fell silent. This guy went bright red, unable to even look at me. He stammered for a moment but couldn't come up with a single thing to say. He knew he'd been caught. The awkwardness was palpable, and my husband's boss, who had been watching the interaction, didn't miss a beat. He said, "See me in my office first thing Monday, before walking away. I don't know what happened after that, but I could see the fear in this guy's eyes. And while I didn't feel bad about it in the slightest, my husband did. Later that night, he told me I had gone too far and that it was over and done with. He said the guy had been moved to another shift and I shouldn't have stirred the pot again. But for me, it wasn't over until I had my say. You see, it wasn't just about the insult to my husband. It was about the defamation of my character. This guy had dragged my name through the mud, implying that I had betrayed my husband and undermined our relationship. And I wasn't going to let that go without standing up for myself. I understand that my husband thought it was best to let things die down, but I wasn't going to allow someone to walk around spreading lies about me. It wasn't just a harmless office joke. It was an attack on who we are as a family. So now I'm left wondering, did I go too far? Was I the one who embarrassed this guy unnecessarily, or did he get exactly what he deserved?